on key pillars of a developmental fiscal policy, equitable and redistributive tax policy, progressive management of debt and deficit levels, rationalization of expenditure away from elite consumption toward social investment, and the institutional redesign necessary to realize a capable, ethical, and activist state. We will engage with our allies as well. We will engage with business as the ANC on these matters. We will also engage with the religious sector through the South African Council of Churches to share and also to listen to their opinion about the issues we are confronting. And we hope to reach a consensus on the matter of the budget impasse within a period of 5 days, having engaged everybody. As the largest party in government, we want to thank all political parties that have worked with us to pass the budget framework in Parliament. Those who are within and outside the GNU. We remain principled on the talks that we had with them, principled and loyal to the engagement and issues that were ventilated in those particular meetings. Of course, we will engage as well with the Democratic Alliance in relation to their own matters and their own conduct in relation to the government of national unity. The negotiating team has been given a broad mandate which will report in 2 weeks to the national officials as well as the National Executive Committee of the ANC, which will be special. Most of you have been asking questions in relation to the future of the GNU. The National Executive Committee adopted the position of the GNU and nothing has changed in relation to that. Should anything change in relation to the GNU, that will be the decision of the National Executive Committee. The NWC is navigating the process of the budget impasse in the context of the GNU and making it a point that we succeed and pass the budget. But the budget in itself has come in uncharted waters with new experience. Before, there was not a laborious, elaborate process of consultation on the budget issue. But now, because we are in the GNU and we have lost the majority in government, perhaps it is going to be important that engagement on the budget, it is done prior in terms of issues. The issue today may be the VAT. In future, there will be another matter. Of course, the VAT issue, and nobody agrees with just raising of taxes in any context. Nobody enjoys that. But at the end of the day, government and the state need to raise resources in order to fulfill the mandate of serving the people of its own country. And South Africa is no exception to that. So our mission is clear, is to build a democratic, non-racial, non-sexist, united and prosperous South Africa. The struggle continues and the people's movement will not retreat. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Comrade SG. Shall we then get to it, colleagues? I am going to take questions. Thanks. I will start to the right. And I do ask for us to try and keep them as crisp as possible, seeing as we have a huge number of media houses represented here today. SABC, followed by Newsroom, and followed by Eyewitness News, in that order. Could we pass on the mic?
Mr. Mbalula, short, sweet, and direct. To restart the budget, what does it mean? Are you opening up the GNU to all other political formations once again? Are you essentially renegotiating the GNU to all other political formations, to include your EFF, your Action SA, so on and so forth? What was the resolution of the NWC in pertaining towards the Democratic Alliance? Or rather, can I rephrase the question? What was the recommendation of the NWC to the NEC with regards to the participation of the Democratic Alliance in the GNU? On the issues that were detailed by the Deputy President Paul Mashatile, that he would be embarrassed to report to work having not passed the fiscal framework of a budget that he would be in government of. What was the NWC stance on the continued participation of the Democratic Alliance with its failure to pass the fiscal framework of the budget of the country? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Newsroom.
Oh, last one, when is the NEC? When is the NEC?
Okay.
Thank you very much. It's Zianda Mobo from Newsroom Africa. Just linked to Samvela's question, because I understand that the AWC looked at several scenarios. How would you then resolve an instance where the Democratic Alliance says it's not keen to have other parties Action SA or also joining the GNU, basing this on clauses within your statement of intent? And is it true that you are planning to give the DA conditions that would allow for it to remain in the GNU after you refuse to go to the budget? So, I mean, there's a strong grouping within the ANC that believes that they should be punished, either through having, the ministerial posts reduced, which is a likelihood if you're going to be opening up the circle to other parties, or any other conditions that the ANC, through this NWC meeting, would have put on the table. So what is the recommendation when it comes to that? And at any stage, was President Cyril Ramaphosa asked to keep a possible cabinet reshuffle in abeyance in response to my earlier question about possibly punishing the DA for their conduct, because you left it open-ended to say you'll just be engaging them on their conduct, but how far does that extend? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Eyewitness News.
Good morning, SG. I'm Farah Mushwana here from Eyewitness News. My question is linked to the ones Yana just asked with regards to the conduct or the behavior of the DA. You've basically bemoaned them. You've named the Bella Act, the Expropriation Act as well. Do you expect them to just sit and dance to the tune of the ANC and support legislation that they don't agree with? Or do you expect them, like any other democratic institution, to raise their frustrations, their grievances with any matter on the table? And secondly, Herman Mashaba was speaking on 702 this morning, and with what he says, he's claiming the ANC basically tricked his political party into supporting the fiscal framework in Parliament. Mashaba, for some reason, believes that come the 1st of May, there's not going to be any 0.5 tax increase, which I don't think is possible at this stage. Do you confirm, do you say whether or not Action SA was tricked into supporting the fiscal framework in Parliament? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll take you, my brother. And then a viewer there at the back. Please start. No, next to Alpha. Oh, that's fine. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. I'm Dilla from ENC. Just around to my colleagues. As you mentioned that going forward you work around the framework for the budget with the political parties that voted with the budget that gave it the go-ahead. What does that mean, given that the Deputy Finance Minister, one of them is from the DA. Are you going to exclude them? And then adding on to Zianda's question, could this then possibly see a cabinet reshuffle if you are to exclude the Deputy Finance Minister? And also just how then will the GNU deal with impasses going forward? Because you mentioned, of course, the separate political parties that have different ideologies. This is just one of the hurdles that we assume you'll face going forward. If a political party, just like the DA, doesn't agree with you, what happens in that instance? Maybe lastly, what exactly will you say to the DA in the meeting that you are to have in the next 5 days?
Thank you very much. I'll take the last person here. Please go ahead.
Oh, I was started by my colleagues.
You are sorted.
Yeah, for now.
All right. Thanks. Let's take those.
A lot of horrible things have happened in the past 5 days. A lot of horrible things have happened in the last 5 days. So we have not taken a position about any political party in the GNU. That includes the DA. We have engaged all political parties. We have passed the framework. We are going back to understand. Maybe the DA doesn't want to be in GNU anymore. And if they still want to be part of it, how do they then address the issue of the budget impasse? And how do we then cross? That is the fundamental question. We don't have to second guess each other, which will be part and parcel of negotiations and engagement. That's what we do. We are a decent party. We don't talk through headlines and gossip. We talk face to face. What we want to raise with the DA, we'll raise it with them when we meet with them. Maybe they've taken a decision. We don't know that they want to go, given the actions they have actually taken. What we have agreed to do is to reset the pattern by way of ensuring that this GNU going forward has got to be governed by rules, not just the statement of intent. What rules govern us as members of the government of national unity? The fact of the matter is that the ANC does not have the absolute majority to govern. It works with other parties as the largest political party. So you have a responsibility to listen and engage with them. When is the NEC? The NEC will sit at any given time and we will announce when such date has been agreed upon. Zianda, I don't know where you get this report that there are conditions. The ANC is speaking through me. And then somebody gave you the conditions. He must answer that question of the conditions. We don't have any conditions for anyone or any threats. And if there is conditions, the ANC will communicate. The problem we have about running a big political party like the ANC is that people tend to confuse individual PAP discussions to ANC positions. That's why we say the ANC speak for itself. And the ANC is speaking now. And the ANC is telling you that it's going to engage with everybody, including the Democratic Alliance, including about their posture. We don't know. They might have taken a decision to leave government of national unity and to stay. And if they decide to stay, how do they stay? probably. How do they stay if they decide to stay? So we'll get it from them. And we have explained that the ANC is committed to the government of national unity. We have got no position to shift to supply and confidence. And probably we can have that with other political parties that are not part of the GNU. Once we engage, we'll understand where others stand beyond the budget impasse. So we don't have any conditions for that matter. What we know is that there is a budget impasse and the DA took a particular stance to oppose it. And then you don't just oppose and end there. You oppose and what next? You want to stay, you want to go? You know, my friend in America, Brandino Hood, has got that song, Should I Stay or Should I Go? You know, it's a very nice song. So the question is, if you stay, then what do you want? The ANC is very clear. Expropriation bill, Bella Act, NHI are here to stay. And when we're negotiating, right at the beginning, we didn't say when we're negotiating, that the bills that have been passed by the National Assembly before the President should be reviewed and should not be signed. We don't have that agreement. The President has signed bills that have been duly passed by the National Assembly and the Council of Provinces. And then he signs them. And there are many before him. And those that are unconstitutional, based on the advice that he gets, he sends them back to Parliament. So these bills, there's nothing unconstitutional about them, and that's it. And we've got to address a number of issues. People have gone to court on the budget impasse. So we've got to address those issues on the table. Now, you want to accuse the ANC that it has chucked people out of the national cabinet. You are not saying that, but you are getting there. And you are interested to know what is the ANC position, and you want the ANC to dismiss anybody. Not the ANC. By the way, it's the prerogative of the president to dismiss people. That's what you want. Of course, you've got the right to do that. If I'm president and I've got ministers who are a law unto themselves on the basis of a political party affiliation, I've got to make up my mind as the CEO about how do I address this kindergarten in my cabinet. And that's what the president will apply his mind on. And he will engage with his ministers about their conduct. Because at the end of the day, anarchy must stop. It cannot go unabated. And then you cannot have them both at all times. That this side you want to be dominant, this side you want to be dominant. If you want to be dominant, then win elections outrightly and impose your wish and your will on what you want to do based on the will of the people. And like the Freedom Charter says that no government shall claim authority unless it is based on the will of the people. No government. The ANC cannot be reminded from time to time that it does not want power. We have not won power, but we are the largest political party. And we work with others in that context. So, Zianda, if any reshuffle were to happen or is put in abeyance, we are not aware of that. The president has not told us that he wants to reshuffle or change government. We're committed to the GNU, and the GNU is not the DA. You must understand that. We have been explaining to you. It's not the DA. It's the GNU with others. When we're negotiating with the DA, The DA told us about the redliners, the things that they don't want. They said to us all of those things that we must form government with them, not with others. We said no. That's why every time the leader of the DA speaks and say that we are in alliance with the ANC, we don't speak much about that because that's not the truth. We gave a political party with 2% PAC, the biggest ministry of land reform in the country. We gave them in the government of national unity. We could have easily given that to any other political party and so on. I'm just giving you as an example. So it is a GNU, and that is the option we have adopted, and it has been a choice that we have made, and which has proven to be correct. If in the process there are people who misbehave and define themselves outside government, then it is their choice too to do so. But we are advancing stability for the country, and that is what is important to us. There are many people who gave us the redliners, and others keep pronouncing themselves in public on daily basis. That's their problem, and that is their choice at the end of the day. Eyewitness News, have we tricked Action SA? We are not tricksters. We don't trick people. We engage with Action SA. They raise their issue in relation to VAT, that they don't want a VAT. That's not tricking anyone. We will engage honestly with Action SA and all other political parties that have passed the framework about the way forward. We've got our own position as the ANC, which we will not pronounce for now, up until we engage with all political parties. There is an impasse in relation to budget. Everybody in Parliament says we don't want 0.5%. What do we do? And that is the impasse and the reset of the pattern in terms of negotiations it's about. So that is what these negotiations is about, Samke. It's about the budget impasse and the suggestions that political parties are making on the table. So we're going to be talking to them because we need to pass the division of revenue and the appropriation later on. So we can't do it on our own. We've got to talk to others. As a political party that is the largest in Parliament, we've got to talk to everybody, including the DA, about this past week and the way forward. That's what we're going to be doing. ENCA cabinet reshuffle. Cabinet reshuffle is the prerogative of the president. He has not raised that with us even in the meeting. He has never done so. He engages with the officials. That is it. If it has to happen because other people are leaving, the president will have to apply his mind and then consult us later on. And after talking to his ministers in government about their conduct and all of that, and he feels that he's got to take steps, he will talk to them. And he hires and fires in that regard. So when you are in cabinet and you serve at the behest of the sitting president. You ask, what are we going to do with the DA? This question is unfair to the ANC. When you decide that I'm no longer party. For instance, if the ANC tomorrow takes a decision that we are abandoning the GNU, we are out, it is the ANC decision. The DA must then answer the question, not us. Like you say, Deputy President Mashatile is correct. If you are part of a government and you don't agree with the budget, how do you continue to sit there? It's a logical question that the political party concerned must actually answer. Because I might say that I don't agree with this budget, 0.5 or whatever, for the following reasons, and I'm going. And then when you are gone, we will close the door, sit down, and decide. What do we do? Who comes in after you have left? Well, I've never been in a divorce, but what I've seen, divorce in terms of marriage, is that people go to the lawyers, they negotiate, they divorce. They share the estate, they fight, but the divorce is a divorce. You file the papers. They must file the papers that we're divorcing ourselves from the GNU. We don't want it. We are comfortable to go back and sit in the back benches. They've not answered that question. You are asking it from us. You are asking it deliberately because they probably have told you that we are waiting for them to dismiss us. It reminds me of a Zuma Mbeki scenario. And Zuma says that I'm not going to resign up until he tells me to resign. And then thereafter, Zuma says, I welcome the decision of the president to disinvite me as the deputy president. But he has never filed the resignation. Even when he knew that, hey, there are basis for me to resign, I'm going to be arrested. I no longer have a choice to stay here as a deputy president. I'm going to be arrested by the NPA, I've been told. But you say, I will wait for him. So it's a chess game. We are not in that thing. We are not in that thing of the chess game. We are showing South Africans and everybody else that we remain loyal. We did not dupe South Africans when we formed Government of National Unity. Many of our members don't agree even with the participation of the DA in the GNU. They don't want it. And most of them now, with the DA and all of that, they say, yeah, dismiss them. And all of that. That's where we stand. We are loyal to the decision of GNU. Why? Because GNU to us is about South Africa. Even if you don't believe it. But to us as the ANC, GNU is about South Africa's interest. And see it for what it is. Otherwise, if we were not genuine, we could have done the patch-ups that these other parties want. Come, let's work together for convenience. We are working for South Africa. If you want to work, come into the GNU. And others said, no, we are not coming in. And then we said, no, we will work for South Africa and make it work for South Africa because this is the will of the people. This is the outcome of the election. We didn't win elections. We invited all political parties. 10 political parties are part of the GNU. Why will the ANC invite political parties to the GNU if we've got the power to dismiss people, hire and fire? We don't. We are a 40% party, but with that 40%, we'll defend the interests of what these 40% want us to do. To date, we have done that. With our 40%, 6 million people. The DA, when they talk down on us, they call us fools. They call us all names. They call us everything they want to call us. But we know we have taken the right decision. we are the most matured political party in this country. We are not threatened by political parties. We know we will work our way back. And we know that South Africans don't want to be duped, and they can see a trickster from far. So Mashaba must relax. He's not been duped. We'll engage with him, and we'll continue to work with them, and we remain committed to what we agreed to in our negotiations, which were led by the chief whip. Now, those negotiations are gone. The SG is back on the driving seat with the negotiating team. We have been mandated, and as we speak now, I've written to all political parties. We're going to meet with them, discuss and negotiate the budget impasse. All right? As I conclude, negotiations have got a strategy. And what you employ in terms of your strategy is your business, how you do things. So you do have a back channel, you do have the front door, you use everything at your disposal to negotiate with political parties and eventually come to a conclusion of your discussions. So the Secretary General of the ANC reports to the officials, report to the NWC. After the NWC, report to the NEC. That's what the SG does, and engages with political parties. If you see me tomorrow with Helen Zille having a tea, and then with Jacob Zuma, which is very difficult to meet, it's like, or a meeting with Malema, which is easy to meet, and everybody else. And then with Herman Mashaba and Musima Imani and all of that, it's me. It's our business. We report to the organization. So other people in the ANC like to besmirch how things are done because they're targeting an individual. And you as journalists, you write about those things, including the misinformation that the SG opens a parallel process of me. How can I open a parallel process over a process I'm in charge of? I'm in charge here. I'm running this. Does it seem like Luthuli House is falling apart? It's not. I'm in charge here, mandated by my collective. I report to them every Monday without faith. Every Monday, I report here on duty. I report here to the president, deputy president, I report to them. Okay? If I send Mahlengi to go and meet so and so, it's my business in the negotiations. How I do that business and arrive at decisions, the fact of the matter is, this is the center, and the center holds. And every one of these people report to the center, and that's it. So those who want to besmirch Mbalula for whatever reason, they go and lie to the journalist, and the journalist write that Mbalula is running an underground mission. I don't run an underground mission here. I run proper stuff, proper. And I engage with anybody through whatever channel. Whether the channel is at the back or front, it's a channel of engagement. And now I've announced to you that we're going to be talking to all political parties. We'll report back to the officials. That is our mandate. We have a mandate to engage. It will go up until Easter and beyond. But we can assure you there is no crisis. We'll cross. We will cross this hurdle, and the budget will be delivered. And we will work with all South Africans, irrespective. If you want to ask about the DA and their fate and future in the GNU, start with them. They have taken a decision that have got implications about their participation in the GNU, they must answer it. You can't have a pudding and you don't eat it. Eat your pudding. You decide. If we decide that we no longer want everybody and all of that, we will tell them, duly so, that, hey, we don't think coming together in this GNU with you is helping. But remember, you don't have to think about your political party only. But if you have taken a decision that you are going to use GNU to advise your interest, you will make mistakes. Because once you serve there, you serve South Africa. Do you South Africans want this country to collapse? Nobody wants this country to collapse. Donald Trump is tormenting us every day and night. Every week, he's tormenting us. A country like South Africa. He knows he's got what we need from him. And then he also wants something from us. But we might be needing him more in terms of trade relations between this country and America. And I don't hide it and try to behave like as if we don't need America. We need America. For South Africa to survive in the trade and global sphere. If South Africa were to collapse, the rand becomes something else. This country becomes a rubble. Me and you, we don't have two passports. We're not going to run to UK or anywhere. We are here. We will die here in the rubble. The ANC has got the responsibility to protect South Africa's interest. And we'll do that without pleasing others with populism. We'll do that for this country. We will defend South Africa's interest. We will defend South Africa's people's interest. Our people don't work. Our economy is not growing. And it is ANC's interest to make South Africa work. If the DA does not have that, it simply has this interest that at all time we must politic, show the world that we are better off, a 20% party, and then everything else, it rotates around that. Everything can collapse simply because we want to showcase everyone that we are making progress. There are better things that can make you win either than undermining national interest. We are about national interest here in South Africa. We don't have, when we go up to the Cape, the Atlantic, where it meets with the Indian Ocean, that's where things collide. So we've got nowhere to run to. And South Africa must work. It is South Africa and ANC. That's what we want. South Africa first. And if we want, we have seen the stories of other countries that have turned into a rubble because of recklessness. I don't want to mention them. You can see them. We don't want this country of ours to be in that state. We've got every responsibility to protect South Africa and South Africa's interest at all cost. And that's what is important for the African National Congress. So the budget will pass, working with others. We'll negotiate, we'll engage, as we have been doing. And once we come to a common approach with the majority, we will pass the division of revenue and appropriation, and South Africa will be on its journey. And that's what we want, and that's what we're going to do in terms of engagement. We can't answer questions for other political parties. They must answer for themselves. And equally, when we meet with them, we might answer that question. We might ask that question to them. But we respect everyone we work with. We are not disloyal. We are not tricksters. We are, even though the deficit is too high, in terms of trust. We are on the journey of regaining that trust from our people and everybody we work with about the difficulties that we face as a country. Thank you.
I know that the responses were quite comprehensive, but it will be remiss of me not to recognize colleagues to the left. I'll start with Business Day. And are you saying something, Reuters? Oh no, your hand is not up. News 24, and IOL. Okay, there's a brainwave there, and then it will be, you'll close us up. Thank you. Please, sir.
Okay, afternoon, SG. My name is Tandamaya Kopo of the Business Day. Just how much of a factor was the geopolitical environment that we find ourselves in considered in ensuring that the GNU remains intact? And you did say now you are in the driver's seat regarding negotiations. Just please clarify who is negotiating? Who are the members of the negotiating team? Is there a different parliament team, and then a Tory House team, and then maybe in a cabinet team? Just who is part of that team? And then do you think that these negotiations will be concluded satisfactorily? That is, by the time the Division of Revenue Bill is considered, which is around, I think, the 6th of May. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Business Day. News 24.
Good afternoon, my name is Santana Komo from News 24. Mr. Mbalula, mine is about your relationship with your counterpart in the Democratic Alliance. Before sending the letter that you said you sent, have you spoken to the federal chairperson, Helen Ziller? What is the nature of those conversations if you actually spoke to her? Do you believe that the relationship with the DA can actually be saved? And then Herman Mashaba, I know that you tackled it, but in his statement he said that they will not entertain an invitation to come to the GNU if their terms are not met. And the term is the VAT issue. If it's not sorted out, do you have the luxury of time when it comes to that, considering that the ANC is in the next coming weeks? Thank you.
Thank you. Aye.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Gabaro from IOL. Now, just on the international allegations issues. Last week, the US moved to sanction ANC officials over ties to Iran, China, and Russia. So I want to check if the ANC will send a separate delegation to meet with the US regarding the proposed sanctions on ANC leaders, and also perhaps clarify the ANC position on the Ukrainian Palestine conflict. Another one is that there's been a lot of misconceptions around targeting white minorities. What is the ANC doing to encounter these false narratives? Because if I check, I think this may influence the US to impose sanctions on city ANC. So what is the ANC doing about this? Thank you.
Thank you very much. We take the last. Oh, sorry. And then the last time.
Thank you. SG, are you saying if the DA doesn't walk out of the GNU, certainly the ANC would not replace them? I think numerically you are in a position, although you haven't won elections, to replace them, because even in that leaked audio, the president has said that the ANC is leading the GNU, so I don't necessarily buy this thing that you are not in a position to dismiss anyone. And coming to your members, please take them into confidence, because many of them, and even outside, they believe that you are beholden to the DA. Just take them into confidence that no, we are not necessarily beholden to the DA. They insult you, as you correctly point out. They call you fools in public. Even yesterday, one of them did it, but it seems you are desperate to keep them. And finally, does the ANC share this notion that stability for South Africa means the DA in government? that the rent taking a knock recently is because of uncertainty over the DA's future participation in the GNU. Is that why you are keeping them in the cabinet, even though they are voting against you and even litigating against the very government that they are part of? Thank you.
Thank you very much. You'll be the last person.
Raymond from Edinburgh. I just want to know, when you talk about you're going to have this, discussions with all political parties regarding the impasse with the budget, does that mean only for the budget, or does it mean that you're also opening up the GNU for other parties to perhaps also then join the GNU? And also, what are the rules to kick out a party out of the GNU and also to invite a party into the GNU? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Business Day negotiating team. The ANC has got a coalition team that is headed by the Secretary General. We've got members of that team. There is a GNU team that is headed by the Secretary General and the negotiating team. Members of that team, there are many. Pakstau, Zuko, Nkenke, Makura, Phoebe, Nomvula, Marupeni, Gwede Mantashe, Andris Nel, whom am I missing? Mahlengi, Ino Kotongwan. Those are the members of the team. Ronald Lamula. That is the negotiating team of the ANC. Time frames, of course, we work within time frames. We have said to you in a week's time, we should have engaged with all political parties and have a sense of direction about what is the conclusion on the impasse in terms of the budget. That's what we're going to do. News 24, Herman Mashaba. What were you saying, Thames? Yeah, of course, that is part of the negotiations. That's what we're going to be engaging about. There's been a lot of pressure on Action SA and BOSA to explain themselves about passing which I think it's unfair, you know, the implications for them and the fact that they support the increase of VAT. It's not true. They didn't support the increase of VAT. So we've made that point very clear. So, and I've explained to you now that all the parties we talked to did not agree, others understood. We moved from 2% to 0.5%. So if we were to totally take VAT out, where will we get the money? Reprioritize. So the ANC says in its statement of the NWC, because what it means is that austerity kicks in. It means your priorities in terms of what constitutes pro-poor will then suffer. So all of those must be addressed. Where will the Treasury get the money from to address the shortfall in the budget? From where I'm seated, I know that Action SA have made a grocery of proposals of where the money should come from in terms of this. The DA has been shifting goalposts. Now want us to debate and agree on issues that in our view, do not affect the budget. We can engage continuously on those particular issues that they are actually raised. Operation Vulindlela, wanting a particular person to lead that and all of that, and then look at the spending. That is the matter that is being attended to in government. Dissolution in terms of the passenger rail and all of that. It is addressed in the rail policy of this country. So the question is, how do we go about that? Concessions for Cape Town Port and Durban. Those are the issues that they are actually raising. Now, those matters cannot make us not to pass the budget. They should be negotiated and engaged and be resolved in the context of governance going forward. We have seen this submission made by a senator or a Republican person in the capital on the bill to sanction South Africa and in particular ANC leaders. The ANC will pronounce with regard to that. Obviously, we are not in favor of that. There's no basis whatsoever to sanction ANC leaders on the basis of what I've read in that bill. I think that is fishing and creating a false basis for sanctioning individuals. So it's a question of being punitive, using the reasons that have been advanced in that particular bill. But the ANC will respond to that, and the ANC will also like to engage with Americans at the highest level about what is happening in our country and to also understand them, where they come from on these issues. We think that yesterday the NWC have agreed that we need to engage with American leadership on the false narratives that have been peddled against our country. As an organization, in our own right, we need to engage, and we will do so, starting with the embassy and the ambassador and everyone else around here. We did the same with Lady R. We engaged with Brigetti, ambassador of America. He was here at Lutuli House. You saw it. We will do the same even now about these issues that have been raised. And we are doing that for South Africa's benefit, so that this great country of ours does not face punitive measures, and we did nothing. We folded our arms, we did nothing. We will do so up until at the end, where even sanctions are imposed on us and everyone else in our country and against our country, because these punitive measures will be dire in terms of South America's trade relations. So we will engage with that. The false narrative must be challenged and be rebutted. If the DA works, it's obvious. If the DA works, they will be replaced by those who wish to participate in the government of national unity. If they don't work, if the DA doesn't work, they will explain themselves why they are not working. So that's what they will have to explain. We have decided to stay. We are not working. Why? Because everything suggests that we are ready to walk to the moon. So why are we not working? They will explain why we are not working. Why should we explain that? When I decide to stay in a relationship, I decide that I love you or I love this process. You decide for the basic reason of love that I'm staying. I had second thoughts about you, but it's fine. I've decided to stay. So they will answer that question. I'm sure Helen Zille is ready for answering that question herself about staying or not living and so on. We didn't dismiss anyone as government. We didn't, our president didn't dismiss anybody. They chose that we are working. But it looks like they are happy to stay. So, as you would have seen, Mike Fasson explaining a lot in terms of Department of Public Works. So, they are ready. But you can't stay without explaining yourself how you deal with this animal. If you stay, how do you deal then with the budget? So those are negotiations and discussions we're going to have with them. But I've seen sweeping statements all around about, we're not beholden to the DA, we're beholden to South Africa. That's why you make a mistake. We're beholden to this country. We're not beholden to Helen Zille and his party. We disagree with them. We don't agree with them about how this country must be transformed. They don't agree with redress. Actions speak louder than words. You know, here in South Africa, it's easy to lie. At some point, they said, no, our president is a spy, he works with CIA. Our president is loved by Americans. And Dr. Muisen Dozi says, I've never seen a spy which is like this one. And then he started to mention. And then secondly, he explained. They said, no, he loved white people, he loved the DA and all of that. And then he explains, Bella Act, NHI, expropriation, all of these things that are done by who? Cyril Ramaphosa. Now, Mren, if you say you are beholden to something, how? Slogans, rhetoric, making noise that no, we are not party to this, we are party to that, and all of that. Duping people with slogans and rhetoric. When it matters most, you know, for instance, let me give you an example. EFF and its leader, they make a lot of noise. They don't love the DA and all of that and so on. The ANC went to them and said that, okay, fine, you don't agree with VAT, abstain. What did they do? They voted. With who? The DA. If Malema and his party had the majority that we have, do you think that they will be working with the ANC? They won't. He hates the ANC with passion. Him and Floyd combined. I don't know why they are fighting. I think that's a movie we're being subjected to. That fight of Floyd and Julius, it's not real. That thing is just a movie. It's fiction. These are buddies. So Floyd has been sent to go and manage JZ and that MK party and Dalimpofu. So it's a big fiction, my brother. These people are buddies like this. They are together. So they say they want to remove the ANC surgically, including working with the DA. They want to remove us from power. Both of them. They would have abstained and come back to us and say, but guys, we have abstained in this thing, we don't want VAT. Mashaba has said that we don't want VAT. Busa, we don't want VAT. Anyone said so. Even our allies, COSATU, Communist Party, everybody. I'm not sure about the Communist Party these days, but they also oppose to VAT. The worker unions in the country, Bovavi and so on, and so on. We went to Parliament to vote for the framework. They are there, fighting. DA says they are going to court to challenge the budget. All right? DA, you are asking me that they are in government. They went to court to challenge the budget. How do you do that and still remain on the other? Now you want to blame it on us. These people are marching on. It's just a matter of pronouncement that we are gone. But they've long taken a decision to leave. Now, they go to court. Malema supports them to go to court on the budget. He doesn't even tactically retreat from that. And then he's duping South Africans that, no, he's anti-DA, and then they must leave, and then this and that. We are not kids. Maybe they're in EFF where they meet. They can dupe each other there, not Tina. DA says they don't want MK and EFF. When the opportunity comes, they vote together. They didn't abstain because these ones are in. They left the GNU and went to join MK Party and EFF to vote against the budget. Where is business in that? I see the letter the business have written to John and our president have responded to that. I think business has been erratic because business believes that they are savior and everybody and the most important person is the DA. It's incorrect. The ANC is not anti-business. We have issues with business. Our strategy and tactics is very clear. Our relationship with business is unity and struggle of the opposite. What does that mean? It means there are things we agree on to move the country forward. There are things we don't. We are not a socialist party. Neither are we a capitalist party. We're advancing mixed economy. Study the ANC properly to understand. That's why people have failed, even the group of 8, because they wanted to transform the ANC and make it a socialist party, and we expelled them. This notion that the ANC must change overnight and become a socialist party, it's incorrect. It's a reductionist, it's a distortion of the African National Congress. People who want to become socialist and communist, they've got a party, Vanguard, which is now going to contest elections, called the South African Communist Party. They must join it, legally so, not underground, and fight for socialism, distinctly. The Communist Party is only that they said that the road to socialism cannot go without combining with the National Democratic Revolution, the NDR. NDR is primarily about resolving the national question. So we know what we stand for as the ANC, unlike all these political parties who don't know what they stand for. And then they are in a marriage over a budget with the DA. They console themselves that, no, we are not. We're doing this against the ANC. So any opportunity they will find, they will work against the ANC. We are not beholden to the DA. We are beholden to South Africa. That's what we are beholden to. We don't want to turn this country into rubbles. We are transforming a country within a capitalist mode of production. That's what you need to understand. We're not, we're doing these things that we are doing for our people, and we're still advancing, and we have not arrived within a capitalist mode of production in South Africa. And that's what we need to understand. We are not beholden to anybody, not beholden to the DA, anyone. It's just that those who are doing cheap politics, they like to throw this thing at us that sisebenza ne-DA. We're not beholden to the DA. Where have you seen in this GNU where the ANC bent over to the Democratic Alliance? Where? That's what you need to explain. We are in this soup of GNU because we did not win the elections. We invited everybody, and those ones who are making noise every day, they said they are not going to come in, the GNU. And they used the reason as DA. Okay, you don't like the DA? We go there in parliament and vote. Who do they vote with? And you interview them every day, but you don't ask them this question. I don't know why, but you don't ask them. Why do you work with DA to stop the budget when you had a choice to abstain? You can't work alone in that parliament. You work with others. MK Party, DA, EFF became great friends overnight without talking to each other because everything but ANC. So they agreed there in parliament. So if it was the ANC, you were going to, Julius and his party worked with the DA here in Johannesburg and voted for them to govern Johannesburg, including working with Mashaba as a DA leader here in Johannesburg, even in Pretoria. We went to them with a cap in their hand, and then we said to them, let's work together. They refused. They must know we will never beg them for anything this time around. They come in the GNU, they can make many pronouncements. We will never beg them for anything. EFF and that Mkhonto is a Zuma party. We'll never beg them for anything. The same as we'll never beg the DA. We're not beholden to them. They have chosen to participate, and they have created their own chaos. We are still standing. You know, when Zuma decided to appoint a minister over a weekend, this country's economy collapsed to rubble, and he had to go and fetch Pravin Gordhan. Do you want us to do that for South Africa? For whose benefit? Collapse the economy, everything becomes chaos in this country. We're not beholden to the DA. DA can walk even tonight if they want to walk. Let them walk. Let them walk. This GNU will not collapse. With us at the helm, it will not collapse. We'll continue with the GNU, with all political parties that are involved. If others want to come in, they will come. We will move on. All what I'm explaining to you is that we managed to pass the budget framework without the DA, and we can still proceed with the division of revenue without them. We're going to reach a consensus on the budget in terms of negotiations. I'm hopeful about that, that in terms of our negotiations, we'll reach a consensus with political parties. We are not beholden to them. We'll pass through without them. They too have got a choice to become backbenchers and become anything. We don't have that choice. With our 40% majority, when we decide that we are moving, there will have to be another election in this country. We can't. We'll become the biggest opposition. We've got the largest majority, not majority, numbers in parliament to continue to govern this country. Unfortunately, DA does not have that. If they had that, with Malema and them, they will be doing their own dance for this country, and we'll respect them, duly so, that this is the will of the people. These people are governing us. Malema is president, John is deputy. John is president, Malema is deputy. You see, these people fantasize about being in union building. That thing, you work through it by winning votes. Cyril, as a president of South Africa, is not there because DA made us a favor. He is there because ANC emerged as a majority party. And they duly voted for him when we went to parliament, and all other political parties, except for MK Party and the EFF. All political parties voted for the president to be president. And then that is it. And then, are we desperate to keep them? We're not desperate. Listen, the situation we are in is not fiction, it's a reality. The ANC did not win power. Did not. We are working with people, horrible things are happening around cities. We are working there as ANC with all other political parties and so on. People that we wouldn't have wanted to work with in the first place. So we're not desperate. So GNU, you asked, the last question was GNU?
Is the discussions only about the budget, or does it also include other?
No, it is about the budget. It is about the budget impasse. It's about the budget impasse. The ANC will meet at a later stage to reflect on the GNU and so on. We are here now dealing with the budget impasse. The issues that political parties have raised, in the main, what we know, it is the 0.5% increase of VAT, which is what we need to address. We are not discussing many things. If there are many things we need to discuss that are raised by the DA, we are ready to engage on those. But at the same time, how do you engage with those issues when you have decided to block the process? It's going to be very long, this process of the court case. If they win, government will appeal. If probably we win out of that court case, they probably will appeal up to the Constitutional Court in terms of the issues that they are raising, okay? We are not cited there as a party, but you can envision the process forward. So that is part of the discussions we need to talk about among parties. And then how do you justify your stay when you're blocking the processes on the other side? These are hardcore questions that must be answered. And they can't be answered through newspapers. They need to be answered when we sit. You sit that side, we sit here, and we talk. The ANC have got a script of negotiations in terms of engaging with parties, which we have not shared with you today. But we have written to political parties seeking an audience and engagement with them. And we want to conclude that process before the 6th of May, so that we know we are able to pass the division of revenue and all of that or not. So once that process is concluded, we'll give you a breakdown of each political party in terms of our engagement. Or probably we will talk in one voice about the way forward. So there's nobody who's going to be tricked here. We mandated our team in Parliament. Of course, Mdu is part of the negotiating team. Mdu, Zuko, Marupini, Andres Nel, to engage political parties in Cape Town on the budget matter. And they were reporting to the Secretary General. We reported back to the ANC. On the other hand, we were engaging as well with the parties and so on. And then we reported yesterday, and then we're given a mandate to go and engage with everyone and then report back within the next 2 weeks. And then that report, depending on the outcome of that engagement, that report will then have to go to a meeting. If the NEC of the ANC decides in its wisdom and engagement to review GNU, that will be the decision of the NEC. At the present moment, there is no such a decision. You could be meeting ANC members who've got their own opinions. We're a big political party with highly opinionated people. but they must understand their opinions are not party position. The party position is the one that is agreed by the working committee, communicated by the Secretary General. We are a big party. We allow dissent. There are people with different views. And there are people who don't even like the DA and the GNU. But their views are not the party line and the position. You must know, as you engage with your friends in the ANC, some are sharing their opinions, some leak information to you, and we're not blaming you as the media about that. We're not fighting with the media, we're not at war with you. The problem is with us. We know that there are people who are giving you information about the ANC, and it's not your problem. They are your clients. That's what they are. They are not leaders, they are your clients. You know, when you've got a client, a puppet inside an institution, in intelligence work, we call it an asset. You've got assets here in the ANC. You are managing. I don't know how much you pay them, you know, because if you are an asset within an agent, you get paid for that. You see, so yeah, you've got assets here among us who are feeding you information, and that's how you operate. Last night, many journalists called me, what is the decision? This morning, on my way here, somebody called me, is the DA out? I said, no, but I even blocked that person. You know, I don't report to you, you know, asking me, is the DA out? Because that is the headline. The ANC have decided to keep the DA or kick it out and all of that. We don't work like that. We don't work like that. We're a political party with a huge responsibility to govern this country. Thank you very much.
I'd like to thank the SG for responding to all of your questions. At this point, we are adjourned. Those who wish to do follow-up, you will find us here. Thank you very much, colleagues. Have a good afternoon.
Hello? Yeah. Rotelgan Burut. Kona ke fetsa ke tla o founela ke se ke tswile mo bathong. Nka se kole bathong ba bang. Ke buile ka lona ngwaneso. It's just that they were asking me a direct question. The mics are on.
KFM might just be that side. This thing of just putting mic like this here. Mics must be that side. Because sometimes you block the speakers, like your mic is like this. Is it? But not to block the speaker. Yeah, but we're going to protest just now. I'm like, oh,
That one of the school for me upset me because apparently the problem was like the parents must fundraise. You know, look. His husband. What? Her husband again.
He's busy sipping water. That you have to do with the bucket. You just don't give us water. Talk to them. Talk to them. You literally bring one bottle for one important.
The accused was taken much later to another office, my lord.
Daar was ek gewees en nog lede wat saam met my gewees het.
It was myself as well as additional members that were with me, my lord.
In daardie kantoor het hy reg oor my op 'n stoel gesit, eerlik.
And in that office he sat right opposite me on the chair, my lord.
So ek sou kon sien as hy ongemaklik gesit het, eerlik.
Therefore I would have noticed in case he was uncomfortable, my lord.
En ek het niemand gehoor instruksie gee van hoe hy moet sit nie, eerlik.
And I did not hear anyone giving instructions as to how he should sit, my lord.
He was instructed to sit halfway on the chair, not to put his back at the back of the chair.
Hy is beopdrag om deels op die stoel te sit en nie sy reg op die regleuning te rus nie.
Eerlik,
my lord,
daar was geen instruksie gewees wat gegee was aan die beskuldigde oor hoe hy moet sit nie, eerlik.
No instructions were ever given to the accused as to how he should sit, my lord.
And at that time,
En op daardie stadium
he was handcuffed.
was hy in handboeie gewees.
Eerlik, weer eens,
my lord, once again,
die beskuldigde het nie handboeie omgehad nie, eerlik.
The accused was not handcuffed, my lord.
He was further instructed
Hy is verder beopdrag
to stand still.
om stil te staan.
No, to sit still in a form of a statue.
Om net soos wat 'n standbeeld
You sit like you
sal
don't have